Ndị be anyị ekeleni m unu n'ụbọchị nke taa. Anyị sị na ya dịrị ndị Igbo na mma. Dịka o si dị, ihe a bụ Igbo midia ka anyị si wee na-ewetara unu ya bụ nnukwu ozi dị oke mkpa gbasata maka ana Igbo and Igbo community and ihe debe na Nigeria. Ya bụ ife ka anyị na-ewetara unu na Igbo midia. Dịka isi wee na-esonye anyị, ọ bụ na nke a bụ ụbọchị izizi gị ị na-abịa n'ilu akwụkwọ na Igbo midia, ekabaru ka i subscribe and turn on your notification ka ị lapụ miss any of our update dịka anyị na-etikwu ya n'ilu akwụkwọ kwa mgbe. Dịka o si dị, o nwere ya wetara n'ụbọchị nke taa gbasata maka ka ya bụ ife si ada and gbasata maka ka ya bụ ife si akpọtụ n'ala Igbo. Biko mma achọ ka ige ya bụ ife. Ihe a bụ ihe BIAFRA Chief of Staff bụ Ngozi Orabueze kwuru n'ilu akwụkwọ gbasata maka ka o si ada na Finland and gbasata maka Biafran Prime Minister Maazị Simon Ekpa. So igecha ya bụ ife idropụra ife iche n'ilu akwụkwọ gbasata maka ihe bụ ife ndị a niile okwu. Alright, over to you.
World where the influence of global powers is more fragmented is a visible development. These changes obviously affect the world global landscape economically and politically, hence cannot be ignored. The United States of Biafra acknowledges this wind of change as a positive and favorable wind and path to follow us, as we have been fighting against a transnational repression, hostile occupation, and destabilization by Nigerian terrorist state in our territory. Nigeria and its allies have maintained tight stranglehold on Biafrans and Biafra while controlling our territory to our detriment. The government of the United States of Biafra is committed to providing economic progress and stability to our people, as well as contributing promoting the similar in the African community and regions. We aim at seizing the opportunity of the current world order to work with these African heads of state who share the same ambition with Biafrans to promote the African cause of reclaiming full territorial integrity and sovereignty, as well as economic independence. Resource in Biafra land is a known fact that our nation Biafra is blessed with both human and natural resources. The fundamental reason for the forceful amalgamation into Nigeria and something which remains a main source of our bad situation. Through history, our resources have been exploited. It is still ongoing by Nigeria and its foreign allies. And our environment has been polluted and grossly damaged in the process of extracting the natural resources, and has as such ruined other means of livelihood for the people. Biafra strongly says no to these decades of exploitative acts and will not give room for such to prevail or continue to prevail. We have also notified all foreign companies milking the crude oil in Biafra land to start paying the 50 million naira or 50 million AJ, which is the Biafran currency, into the Biafra government purse every month. This money will help us rebuild our nation from the devastation that's come upon us by these countries. It will also help us rebuild our nation and help us provide basic resources to our people in areas of healthcare, education, economic, agriculture, and immigration services. Such amount is a drop in the ocean compared to the thousands of dollars these companies get monthly from the Biafra territory. Public announcements have also been made on that the Monday sit at home is active in all Biafra land. to tell the oil companies and the Nigerian agents that Biafra is a sovereign nation. The Monday sit at home continues and has continued for the past 2 years, voluntarily by all Biafrans, to send a message that Biafra is a sovereign nation and to release our leader, NNAMDI, who has been held by the Biafran state for the past 4 or 5 years, despite the law system, despite the United Nations Committee that told Nigeria to release NNAMDI and compensate him. Nigerian state have refused to do that. The Monday sit at home continues. Why we must remain steadfast in defending our independence? We all know that we as a people have been fighting against transnational repression, hostile occupation of Biafra land, and influx of terrorist insurgents and militias into our territory, sponsored and ordered by our now neighbor and ex, the failed entity. What haven't we been subjected to? Is it the repression system, the persecution of Christians? Biafrans are mostly Christians. The human rights violations for decades, the multiple and perpetual genocide, or the relentless extinction threats. Biafrans are mostly Christians, traditionalists, and Judaists. Just to name some of the spacious acts of extinction driven with impunity. The 1945 sudden and savage attack on Biafrans resident in the north, who were taken completely by surprise by the Nigerian state. And before the situation could be brought under control, the bodies of Biafran men, women, and children littered the streets and their property worth thousands of pounds, reduced to shambles. No consequence on those responsible, no compensation to Biafrans. The 1966 massacre of more than 700,000 Biafrans all over the failed state, simply for being Biafrans. It's only now, almost 60 years later, that some main actors and perpetrators are coming out to acknowledge their evil deed with their final boarding pass in their hands. Our own heroes, Colonel Chukwuemeka Odumegwu and General Philip Effiong, as well as several other actors, narrated the true story. But the crooks either declined from commenting or went on perpetuating their lies, only to start now to attract last attention and honor for committing such atrocity on mankind. Even with their book of cruelty, they know themselves and know fully well that they have not told it all. This shows how determined they have always been on accomplishing their project of extinction of us, as they continued to do. The 1967 to 1970, together with their colonial master Britain and almost the entire world power, they executed the genocidal war that took the lives of over 5 million Biafrans. The main man, with his boarding pass, begging to board, sheltered in their colonial master's land, wants to carry his evil to the other side. Most of them at this point have the passport about to leave because of the crime they committed against Biafra people. We leave it up to the spirit of these millions of Biafrans together with our invisible God to fight for us. Then the RRRK, the reconciliation, rehabilitation, and reparation, which was never implemented and the 20 pounds given to our people in place of their huge wealth. At the end of the Biafra Nigeria Civil War, all Biafrans all over Nigeria, regardless of how much millions, regardless of how much thousands of pounds you have in your account, the Nigerian state gave them, each and every one of them, only 20 pounds, equivalent of, if you have $20,000, if you have $1 million, if you have $100 million in your account in Nigerian state, by the end of the Civil War, Biafrans all over Nigeria were giving only 20 pounds. Let me say equivalent of $20, regardless of how much you have in your bank account. That is what Nigerian state did to us, to our parents and to our grandparents. The crackdown on subsequent Biafra activists to hold us in bondage to the detriment of our people, while they and their Western allies continue to exploit our natural resources, leaving our environment polluted and grossly damaged in the process of extracting the natural resources, and has as such ruined other means of livelihood for the people. Biafra strongly says no. No to these decades of exploitative acts, and will not give room for such to prevail or for such to continue. The perpetual act of intimidation. Several hundreds of Biafrans have since been unlived. Simple for being Biafrans. Simple for being Biafrans, for being Christians, or traditional worshippers, or Judaizers, or their human and natural resources. Simply for this, Nigeria armored tanks are in several quiet communities of Biafra land as I speak now. The current situation of our Supreme Leader, NNAMDI, in the hands of our ex and that of our Prime Minister, Simon Ekpa, in the hands of our Finland, through the current Finnish government, in the hands of our ex too, should be able to convince every Biafra to support what we are doing. Both leaders should be appreciated and held high for standing in the gap for us. With the evidence in our position, their persecutions are simply politically and economically motivated by both oppressors. Their situation is quite provoking. The failed and criminal entity has since 2021, without any reason, and even acting against its own constitution and court judgments, denied our Supreme Leader, NNAMDI, who is in possession of British passport, his basic human rights for freedom and right to agitate for self-determination for us, his people, the indigenous people of Biafra. Their government kidnapped him from Kenya and has since then held him incarcerated under DSS in Nigeria. Notably, the government of the international community, including the current Finnish government, instead of calling Nigerian government to order, has remained mute about our situation, and rather proceeded their economic deals with the entity using our population and our resources. Our Prime Minister, Simon Ekpa, who is in possession of the Finland's national passport, has for close to 4 months now gotten his freedom infringed upon by the criminal enterprise and the current Finnish government in Finland, it's obvious that our lives still don't seem to matter to our oppressors. Our lives do not matter to you. It does not matter to our oppressor, Nigeria and co. But our resources do matter to them. I know that many of you are wondering about the current Finnish government's position here. It's all about hypocrisy and double morals. But be assured that they will all reap what they sow. Well-renowned United States of America analyst Michael Rubin has verified, confirmed, and supported the Biafra referendum. He confirmed the process and the declaration of the United States of Biafra. It might please you to know that more people participated in our referendum than the total number of voters in some of the Nigerian general elections. This clearly reflects a substantial commitment to self-determination among the Biafra people. The Biafra government highly appreciates you all. This singular act proves that the independence and restoration of Biafra is not dependent on any single individual. It also shows that no one can stop the freedom of the over 70 million Biafrans who have sought for their freedom from a geographical expression called Nigeria that rehabilitates and reintegrates non-terrorists into its military, police, security agents, and leadership. Almost 60 years of constant insanity and intimidation. We are finally free to govern ourselves. Time to resurrect sanity in and among us. Time to start living again. I know some of you are still in doubt, skeptical, afraid of your hopes being dashed. It seemed too simple to be true because you don't want to be disappointed again. Your reactions are legitimate. At least it shows that you are aware Biafra's independence is redeclared. With only the referendum, yes, and many more. The people's voices and opinions are the ultimate. We all know that we Biafrans have a central position in the true history of mankind. Civilization, democracy, be it socially and politically, through our different community structures, spirituality, and many others. Even Biafra fulfills all the objective criteria the international treaties outlined for establishing a statehood. We have a permanent population of more than 70 million people, functioning government with all the relevant departments, including defense and foreign affairs. We have a defined territory. We have the ability to engage in diplomatic relations with foreign states and respect for human rights and self-determination. With your solid mandate, no going back. So when 50 million of us have spoken, nothing can stop their consensus from coming to light. We, the members of the United States of Biafra's government, meanwhile, led by my humble self, the Deputy Prime Minister, are committed and resolute to fully restore our sovereignty and territorial integrity. As we use
ndị be anyị ngwadalụ nne ka unu si wee na-esore anyị n'ilu akwụkwọ na Igbo Media ebe si wee na-wetara ya bụ ozi. Gịnị ka nwere ikwu gbasara maka ihe ndị a niile anyị wetara n'ụbọchị nke taa? Kapara ketụsa ya bụ ozi ka ọ rute ụmụnne anyị ndị ọzọ n'ebe dị iche iche ntị, maka ọ sị ọ nụrụ sị ma gịnị ya kara nwanne ya. Ngwanụ ka emesịa na ụmụnne m.